The first assignment is about a straight angle. Let's recall a straight angle. On a straight line, this is what we call a straight angle on a straight line. And it must be, the size is, it must be 180 degrees. Therefore, next time when you see that there's an angle on a straight line, like this one, we call this x, then we are sure that this angle x must be equal to 180 because it is a straight angle. And we have to write down the reason. Why do we know that it is 180? Because the reason we call this ADG dot angles on ST dot line. We call this adjacent angles on straight line. This is the abbreviation of adjacent, ADJACENT. And this is the abbreviation of angles. And ST, this is the abbreviation of straight. So please remember the reason. Adjacent angles on straight line. As long as it is an angle on a straight line, the size must be equal to 180. Okay? So let's see how do we make use of this fact to help us to do math. Now let's go back to this exercise. So we have to find x, and if you try to combine these two angles, 55 and x, if you add them up, they becomes what? They becomes an angles on a straight line. Therefore, 55 degree plus x, add them up, this angle, since it is a straight angle, it must be equal to 180. Is that right? And don't forget to write down the reason. The reason is adjacent angles on straight line. So after that, we have to continue to solve and find the value of x. So since we want x only, we don't want to have the 55. Therefore, you should try to move it, the 55 positive, move it to the other side, and it becomes negative 55 degree. So we have only x left behind on the left hand side. So x equal to 180 minus 55. And we all know that 180 minus 55 is 125 degree. Therefore, x is equal to 125 degree. So it is done. Let's move on to the next one. What about this problem? Are you able to solve it? Can you find x? So any clue? What is the relationship among these three angles? These three angles. Yes, if you add them up, 62 degree plus x plus 34 degree. What happens? They becomes a straight angle. So let's try to add them up. 62 degree plus x plus 34 degree. Do you know the result? If you add them up, they becomes what? They become a straight angle, which is 180 degree. Do you remember the reason? We also need to write down the reason, because not everyone understands this. You have to write down adjacent angles on straight line. Okay? And now, let's continue. What do we do next? We are looking for x. We want to know what is x. Therefore, we have to try to get rid of these two numbers, 62 degree and 34 degree. Let's try to move them to the other side. 62, when you move it to the other side, it becomes negative 62 degree. And positive 34, when you move it to the other side, it becomes negative 34 degree. So we've got only x left behind now. X equal to 180 minus 62 degree minus 34 degree. And the result is 84 degree. Okay? Is it easy? Let's look at a harder one. Next. What about this one? So we see that we have three angles, 37 degree and x. Then what about this? Do you remember what does it mean by the square? The square means it is a right angle, which is 90 degree, right? So, are you able to find x? Do you know the relationship among these three angles? What happens if you add them up? 37 degree plus 90 degree plus x becomes what? Yes, becomes 180 because this is a big angle on a straight line. It is a straight angle if you add them up. So it becomes 180. And don't forget to write down the reason. Adjacent angles on straight line. Okay? And then we have to go ahead to find x. That means x equal to 180 minus 37 degree minus 90 degree. So that means x equal to 53 degree. Okay? And now let's look at the last question. This one. Oh, this time we have 102 degree, we have x, we have x, we have x. So altogether we have four angles. What happens if you add them up, these four angles? They becomes a straight angle. So likewise, let's add them up. 102 degree plus x plus x plus x. Add them up. And they become 180 degree. Adjacent angles on straight line. Now, to move the 102 positive to the other side, we know that it becomes negative 102 degree, right? So here we have x plus x plus x. 1x plus one more x plus one more x. Altogether, how many x do we have? Yes, we have 3x. They are like terms. We could combine them. Apple plus apple plus apple becomes 3 apples. So that we have 3x. And 180 minus 102 becomes 78 degree. Now, 3x equal to 78 degree. Then what about x? What could we do in order to get rid of the 3? This is times, right? 3 times x. Therefore, when you try to get rid of this, you have to divide. We divided both sides by 3. As long as you are doing the same thing on both sides, it's always okay. If you divide both sides by 3, 3 and 3 could be cancelled out. And therefore, x equals to 78 divided by 3, which is 26 degrees. Okay? So this is the first rule that we have to use. We have to recall. We call this adjacent angles on straight line. If you have any more questions, please let me know.